What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on SportsCenter, they're going to be talking about how Antonio Brown was just cut by the Oakland Raiders. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Adam, what more can you tell us?
Well, Jay, the saga that never ends has reached something of an end, at least for now, in Oakland, with the Raiders officially releasing Antonio Brown as he requested be done early this morning. The release after the Raiders fined him over $215,000, told him that he would not be entitled to any termination pay in a separate letter, and basically voided his guarantees. So I would imagine that there's a battle over the $29.125 million that was remaining on his contract in guaranteed money. The Raiders and Antonio Brown might not be done doing business yet as they haggle over that money, that large sum of money. And now Antonio Brown becomes a free agent, free to sign with another team. And
now, can you believe that? Can you believe that? He hadn't even played one down with the Oakland Raiders and has already gotten a boot. He's already gotten a boot. But I heard about an hour ago that the New England Patriots were looking at him and thinking about picking him up. He may have signed there already. I don't know. I have to check again. But I definitely heard something about the Patriots looking at picking up Antonio Brown. So let's continue.
What has transpired over the course of the last week certainly is not going to help him get the type of contract that he was looking for. It'll be interesting to see if and when, how many teams are interested in him. I would assume that the union will file an expedited grievance on his behalf. And the story that basically has come to something of an end in Oakland continues on in a different way, with Antonio free, going on with everything happening right now that has continued to happen all summer long. So let's just bring it all together. In summation, he goes, he gets frostbite on his feet, he shows up to training camp in a hot air balloon, doesn't attend meetings, calls out the team for fining him, challenges or curses out his general manager, posts a video of a private conversation he had with John Gruden last night, demands his release, and ultimately gets his release. And Antonio Brown's chapter with the Raiders, one of the most bizarre chapters that has ever unfolded with any player on any team at any point in the history of football, has now come to something of an end.
You've been covering this.
It's like, this is so wild and crazy that it's almost too good to be true. I feel like this might have been a plan, because I'm pretty sure I heard about an hour ago that the New England Patriots were looking at picking him up. And I think I heard something about a $9 million signing bonus or something. I heard something about that. But like I said, this is just so weird that he didn't even play one down with these guys. Has been nothing but trouble. Was this in the cards all along? Was this what his plan? To figure out whatever team he wanted to go to, or to get to New England Patriots, or what? Because he got the money. He's with a new team. He acts up with the Raiders, and now he's been cut. I don't know what's going on. This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's almost so weird that it's like, this has to be planned. There's something planned in this. There's something going on. So I don't know. Let's continue.
Story. At what point did this start to go wrong where you realized, this might not end well?
When the Raiders traded for him, and there was not a lot of interest in him around the league. And Pittsburgh was willing to trade arguably the most productive wide receiver in all of football for a third and fifth round draft pick while eating $21 million against their own salary cap. It was important enough for Pittsburgh to have $21 million count against their cap this year to trade him. Isn't that a sign that something is wrong?
That's a sign to me.
I mean, that's definitely a sign, but I don't know. And to tell you the truth, like I said before in other videos, I haven't really heard anything bad about Antonio Brown other than his last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, what about the other 7 or 8 years Antonio Brown was with the Patriots or with the Pittsburgh Steelers and never heard anything about him being bad or having trouble or something going on with them? What happened to that? All of a sudden, his last year in Pittsburgh, he starts acting up and going crazy. He gets to Oakland Raiders. He starts to get even worse. And like I said, from what I hear, that he now is going to be picked up by the New England Patriots. How is he going to be able to work with Bill Belichick? If he can't follow the rules with the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Oakland Raiders, good luck with Bill Belichick, Because Bill Belichick runs a very militant ship. A very militant ship. So he'll have no room for any of Antonio Brown's shenanigans. So I don't, like I said, this is so weird. I don't even know what to say, but let's continue.
Apparently the Raiders didn't see that. They thought, what made them think they could handle it?
Basically, John Gruden wanted playmakers, and they thought that they were getting a bargain on Antonio Brown for a 3rd and 5th round pick. And everybody always thinks that they're going to be the one that controls the guy. But I think that we've seen his conduct become more and more outrageous over time, and more unique, and more, how do we say this? Eclectic. And so basically, now we have a situation where this drama has unfolded in a crazy way.
What's the market for Antonio Brown right now?
Well, the market has to still be very high for him, because just because he's bad off the field or has issues doesn't mean he doesn't still have hands and still have wheels. The situation is, with his behavior. So he still has high value as a football player, but it's everything else off the football field that is the problem. Like I said, this is so weird that I'd have to see it to believe it. I definitely have to see it to believe it. This is so weird that he leaves Pittsburgh, signs with the Raiders, gets a $30 million bonus. It's like, what more do you want? What more do you want? Was nothing but trouble in Oakland, never played a down, gets cut, and now apparently he's with the New England Patriots, where the most militant coach in the world, and Bill Belichick, and you don't think that they're going to bump heads or something's going to happen? I saw this is so weird and so out there that it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I don't know. Let's continue.
Let's go back to when the Raiders were shopping him, or the Steelers were shopping him. It was not exactly robust. Now, at that point in time, there were a couple of teams that had to be compensated, a couple of parties. You got to compensate the Steelers and Antonio Brown. In this case, you just have to compensate Antonio Brown. But I would say this to you. Do you think that there's a team out there that's going to be more willing or less willing to give him guaranteed money than at the time that the Steelers were trading?